Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this panel discussion. We're really, really very honored to have 3 of the top experts within this field of expertise with us today. Our online colleagues are just having a little bit of a wobble joining, but I'm sure they're going to join us shortly. So I thought that we could start off just by asking Doreen just to give us a brief introduction of what you do and just tell the audience who you are and why you're here.
Okay. My name is Doreen Zamuee. I am the Organizational Development Specialist for City of Windhoek. What I do, well, that's multifold at this point. I am essentially responsible for ensuring the organization is prepared for what's coming through the incorporation of innovation in everyday business processes. But also I try to adopt or use AI to inform strategic decision makings. And in addition to that, I'm also the one responsible for ensuring that all grassroots level employees fully understand how their everyday activities impact strategy and how that then speaks to overall organizational performance. So I essentially help my strategic executive and also inform just management at a strategic level how their activities actually in a quantifiable manner helps drive the business forward. So also my position then requires me to have a proactive assessment of employee need, whether in terms of marrying organizational strategy with the kind of talent we need in the future, and also how to upskill our current workforce to ensure that they're aligned to where we're going. I think that's about it.
That in a nutshell?
In a nutshell.
Awesome. So while we wait for our other colleagues to join, I think we're going to kick off with one of our discussion points, Doreen, if that's all right,
No problem.
which is creativity versus automation. So since you are already using AI, and I know there's this big fear of us using AI, and then everyone keeps on asking us, it's like, oh, we're going to end up like the Terminator, and the world will be destroyed, and so on. And it's quite a battle to convince people how to use it ethically and wisely.
Absolutely.
So in your opinion, how can we balance the use of AI to take over repetitive tasks while fostering creativity in the workplace?
I think one of the biggest things most companies are struggling with is recruitment. It takes so long. In addition to that, especially in bigger companies like our own, what I've actually learned is we're currently working on a skills audit, which was developed in-house. So essentially what we then do is we can use, once all the skills are uploaded on the system, on the database, we're able to use AI to then analyze firstly, whether we have someone in the organization who has the required skills and qualifications for current business needs in terms of talent, and also we could use it to project future needs, so that it makes it a lot easier at once we receive applications, we're able to then obviously use algorithms. The great thing with that is it makes it a lot more objective in terms of talent sourcing. But also, we also need to understand that AI is not empathic, and there are always obviously soft skills that we need to be aware of, that only the human interaction can speak to in anything. So we know we can use obviously AI for one of those core things in any organization. But I mean, there are other things we can use it for. Like, I love what they said in terms of using Excel, Copilot in Excel, and as well as producing PowerPoint. That's very good because I never have time for anything.
Exactly.
So I actually recorded the presentation. I'm going to use it as soon as I get back to the office. So yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doreen. I must say that the AI, especially the Copilot, is very polite. It sometimes makes you feel that it does have emotion. So you have to check yourself and convince yourself it's just being polite. And the more polite you are with it, the more polite it is back. So it's very, it can lean itself towards being human, but ultimately it's not human. And I think that's the major difference that we need to understand here.
You know what scares me a little bit about AI is, AI is designed to learn behavior.
Yeah.
So what I actually picked up is if you're biased towards a certain topic, or if you are tend to be biased according to, I even did research, even if you're biased according to a certain ethnic group, I think AI picks that up.
Yeah.
So what happens is then the data, so if you're trying to analyze data, the data that is fed back to you actually incorporates your bias.
Yes.
So, and I think that becomes a bit scary because then the data becomes skewed. So it's very important to be cognizant of what you're feeding your AI device, and also that you need to actually analyze the data to actually try and remove unconscious bias before you're actually able to report that or use that data to report elsewhere.
No, you're 100% right. And that's where it comes back to the Terminator discussion. It's how we use it. And that's why when we recommend you use AI, we do recommend you use it in Copilot, because the AI, and if we talk about the Google AI, it's extremely biased because people all over the world, the searches, the hate speech, all of those things that go on, it does learn it. And we should be cognizant of it. And that's why it's important that we use it responsibly, because we, at this point in time, are guiding where it should go. What you can try to do is, if you are engaging in a conversation and you're afraid of bias, actually tell it to do not be biased. And it will actually remove that from...
Okay, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, give it a try. It works. That's the thing. It does exactly what you tell it. So if you're not very specific, then you're going to end up with potentially... Okay. All right. So next up, we're still having problems with our other two colleagues, but it's fine. We're not going to let that hold us back. Leadership in the age of AI. What strategies can leaders employ to ensure technology drives change and growth within their organizations?
I always petition for, you need to know what your end result looks like before you know which tools to use to reach that end result.
Yeah.
So like you're saying, if you're going to instruct or have a conversation with AI, you need to know exactly what you want and be able to communicate that explicitly. Otherwise, they even go as far as saying, well, AI will hallucinate the answer.
Yes.
Which is very scary, because sometimes it's just going to give you a lot of gibberish, and because you think it's smarter than you, it just gives you information that's inaccurate. So going back to your question, it's important to know what the leader wants. For example, if you want performance analysis, for example, like what I do frequently, so you need to be able to say, okay, this is what I need this to tell me, so it can inform business decision-making or business costing. And I love that it can also maybe predict what the future needs are, basically in terms of forecasting. That's very helpful as a leader. So you can have proper strategic decision-making, and also like financial allocations in certain financial years, because many times our strategies are 5 years. So as a leader, what I would do is I would look at my skills audit and then determine, okay, in the 5th year, are we going to have actuarial scientists to actually tend to cater to this? And if not, what does that mean in terms of my talent development? Am I going to look at what type of talent we have in-house? And is there someone, even if you use LinkedIn, if there's someone in here that actually does a lot of research in that area, can I develop them within that time period? Do they need a course? So that's how you could use it as a leader to ensure that you develop your organization accordingly. What I also love is that you can actually use AI to source or to look at risk mitigation strategies, but that are specific to the data that you have, and also like you can create dashboards accordingly. And I love that, especially with Power BI, which is a Microsoft product, you're able to develop relationships, and I love that it can do it for you itself now, because I'm struggling with those relationships in Power BI. But so now that you can actually map it, so you can map performance with talent, with skills, and especially where the organization is going. It's so much easier if you have those dashboards and see this is where our costing is in terms of percentage variability, in terms of expenses, where financials are concerned. So decision making is a lot easier. Like I said, if you take away the bias component of AI, I think it's a very useful tool. But also now what happens is there are some disadvantages. Some of which are, many times we incorporate this innovation, but we don't take our employees with us. So then we have a gap in terms of change management in organizations, and we forget that these are human beings, and human beings are afraid of that which they do not understand.
Yeah.
So then we have conversations of, how does this impact my job as an administrator? If Copilot is going to do all this analysis for us, what does that actually mean for my position?
Yeah.
If they can write letters for us, Are you still going to need me? And what does that look like? So then we have conversations of how we're going to strategically develop our in-house staff to ensure that we carry them along with the innovation that's coming. And what does that look like in terms of the personality of our of our organization or the culture thereof? So those are conversations I think thought leaders need to start having now already, because whether we like it or not, AI has the characteristics of a pandemic. Whether we like it or not, it's coming. How are we preparing our staff for what's coming?
100%. It is coming. So it's a matter of making sure you're prepared. And I love the way you're thinking into the future, because that's what you have to do. You know, you've got to have this long-term vision for what you want. And then, like you said, start at the end and work your way back. Then at least you know you're going to end up in the right spot eventually. So that's awesome. I don't know what happened to our online colleagues, but thank you so much, Doreen. You are actually enough to talk with. Next up is human-centric technology. So how can technology be designed and implemented to augment human capabilities rather than replace them? This touches exactly on what you just said.
There are a lot of things that AI can do that obviously people can't do. I saw a great innovation, I'm not sure if it's Singapore or Dubai. So what they did is they designed chips that go into drainage systems. Mm-hmm. So when a drain is clogged, it's not nice to actually send a person in there. So it complements. So they can actually see where the clogging is. And then you know exactly what you need and that kind of stuff, which is amazing because, I mean, it complements the person.
Exactly.
So if we can understand, someone said if you don't know how something works, you won't know how to fix it. So if you know exactly if you can figure out how something works and how you can make it work for you to complement what you do, like if you have to write a letter, generate a letter that actually speaks to what needs to be done, which I love, which I actually use quite frequently. But in addition to that, see where it can complement. And in the areas where I was actually having a conversation with a team yesterday, where I was telling them, you know, in banks now, everything is automated. You can do online payments. You don't actually need to speak to a salesperson. So I tell them, this is coming. How can you complement what's coming? So it all depends on how are we going to strategically think about creating complementary relationships with artificial intelligence or technology, as opposed to
replacing,
me versus you.
Yeah.
So that's basically.
No, 100%. I agree with that, and that's actually such a pertinent point, because these are machines, and like we said, they don't have emotion, they don't have feelings. If you ask them to clean the drain or to find the clock, they're not going to have a feeling about it. And I think that also comes down to actually making humans more human, to respect people more, because if you respect them enough and you're not expecting them now to unclog the drain anymore, that's one of the huge advantages. Yay, Jonas has joined us. Welcome, Jonas. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, I think that it complements, humanity in that way, and you've got to see it in that way, that it's possible. That it won't replace us. It's just about relevance. You know, you've got to be relevant in what you do. But from organizational point is we need to help people see how they will remain relevant. They might not know. They'll just have this fear in them. Yeah. But thank you so much. I'm so happy that Jonas has joined us, because your topic is next. This is your thing. I've been working with Jonas for a while, through the last 2 years or so. He is currently at World Wildlife Fund. I'm happy about that. I won't say why now. You can ask me in the break. But I'd like to ask this next discussion point. I'd like to ask Jonas to elaborate for us. On the 4-day work week, you are the pioneer currently for that, and I know a lot of people think, oh yeah, this is not going to happen. We're just going to have like 4 official work days, and we're going to still have the same amount of work, and there's so many concerns and fears around it. So maybe you can start off just by giving us a quick introduction of what you're doing right now and what role you play in the 4-day work week, and then what is your opinion about technology and the modern way of working that we can realize this?
Thank you so much, Vanessa, and my apologies, I was having some technical difficulties. So I am Jonas Ilkela. I hope you can all hear me. I currently serve as the People and Culture Manager at the World Wildlife Fund, and I'm also the country partner for 4-Day Week Global, which is currently trialing the 4-Day Week trial here in Namibia. So yes, very, very interesting conversation. And this year's TechHuddle really has been so insightful and informative. My general views on technology, I think, are summed up by this quote by, I think it's Alvin Toffler. He's a futurist, an inventor who says that the illiterate of the 21st century won't be those that can't read or write, but those that can learn, unlearn, and relearn. And this is really what AI and technology in general is forcing us to do. It's in principle, it's a change management issue. And we know that we don't deal with change, even though it's the biggest constant that there is. With the tools that have been displayed today, specifically my personal favorite, maybe this is biased, Copilot, really makes our life so much easier. There's so many things that we're able to do faster and better because of Copilot. But generally, I think it was in 2022 when Namibia released the 4IR report. And one of the key takeaways there is that there's a skills mismatch. That although technology and the fourth industrial revolution, as well as the fifth industrial revolution, generally has potential to improve our productivity and even enhance our global trade and make our lives much easier, there's a skills mismatch between the workforce, especially adult workers, but also the new generation that is coming into the workforce. You look at education, for example, students aren't really allowed to use AI. In some organizations, IT has completely closed off some AI tools. So how are we going to learn the skills that we need in order for us to actually leverage this technology that's in front of us? In terms of the 4-day week, I think at the core of the 4-day week is how we can work smarter. And I've heard this maybe countless times during the session. How can we work smarter so that so that we can take care of ourselves? And I think even at the beginning, you've mentioned that at the beginning, Vanessa, that we need to also think about our wellness. So that is really what the 4-day week is all about. Finding ways to work smarter, leveraging on technology, so that we can save time and focus on the things that really matter.
Thank you so much, Jonas. And how is it going with the 4-day work week pilot? Are people signing up, organizations signing up?
Yes, so we've got quite a few organizations signed up. But generally, it has been received, obviously, with a lot of skepticism, understandably so. So what we are doing now, we're engaging government in terms of rolling out a national trial that actually has government backing, especially for the private sector as well as the public sector. And what we are doing now is we're showing people through a productivity improvement bootcamp to say what are the tools available, to show them sort of proof of concept to say that there is a way actually to reduce your working time by 20%. And then the companies can decide what they would want to do with that additional 20%.
Brilliant. And tell me, if anyone here in the audience wants to sign up for the 4-day work week, how would they go about that?
So we've got a website, that's 4dayweeknamibia.com. All the information is on there. Alternatively, you can reach out to me. I'm so easy to find these days. But LinkedIn is one of those platforms that you can reach out to me.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jonas. Thank you so much. So that was our discussion points for today. I want to thank both of you so much for making time. I know how very busy you are. I'd like to believe Copilot as a contribution as to why you could make some time to be here today. So, and that's what it is, because it's doing the menial stuff. So you can deliver this message to everyone, which is totally also such a beautiful human message of how we can really use technology to be more human. So thank you so much.
I just want to add, actually, my favorite feature was the dual meeting thing.
Oh.
Because I'm never going to attend all my meetings now. I can just record them all. Thank you.
All right. Well, we do have a co-pilot workshop or pilot that everyone can sign up for. There's some QR codes if you're interested in getting hold of that. But other than that, I think that's it for our panel discussion. Doreen, are you going to be hanging around a little bit here if people want to come and pick your brain, or do you need to rush off?
I heard there's free food.
Yeah, indeed, there is. And there's also very nice gifts for those who stick it to the end, which will be available at the Customer Success Management stand. So definitely. But Doreen will hang around. You've heard Jonas. He's very easy to reach. I have him on WhatsApp. So you can also reach out to me if you want to connect maybe on the 4-day work week for your organization. Thank you so much, panelists. It's been absolutely an honor having you here, and I hope to see you here again next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.